And we are live. What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? Welcome back to another episode of the 76-hour podcast. You're here with your boy Yeen, along with my main man, Nizzy Nowjack Stacks. How are you feeling tonight, my brother?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's September, bro. Ain't that crazy?
September 1st, dog. Time is
It's
flying by.
crazy. But yeah, bro, you know what I mean? Like I just been chilling, same old, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of hoping that everything just kind of slows down a bit, you know what I mean? I feel like this summer just like flew by, but
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. But outside of that, bro, I'm feeling good, doing good. No complaints, bro. How about you?
I'm good, bro. A lot of stuff is about to change in my life for the
Yes,
better,
sir.
I believe. So I'm just trying to get, my actual mindset into going with that change. It definitely is a lot, but God gives his strongest battles to his most competent soldiers. So I feel
Amen.
good.
Amen. I feel that,
I
bro.
I enjoyed the summer immensely. I feel like I could have done more, but I definitely did enjoy this summer. This joint like felt more like this year felt like it was my it yeah, this year felt like as though it was my first adulthood
Mm,
summer, you know, comparatively than like years of past. But I enjoyed it though. I
that's
enjoyed
what's
it.
up, bro. That's what's up.
So
I
yeah.
feel you. But yeah, I mean, we like really getting up there, bro. We like getting like old head age, you know what I'm saying? So,
Scary as shit,
but
bro.
yeah.
I'm about to be 27 in about like 2 months. 2 months, bro.
You really a
That's
whole
wild,
old
dog.
head. That's crazy, bro.
That's OD. For all the young boys watching the potty, stay young, cause that time does not stay with you. Does not
Comes
stay
by
with you.
quick. After
Goes
you
by
turn
very quickly.
21, life just be flying, bro.
Yo, so like hmm, I feel like it really didn't hit me until I turned 25. I feel like
I feel
26
you.
is the year where like it's like damn, like you are old head, but like 24 was like still cool. 25 was like
Wow.
yikes, and
Exactly.
26 is like damn, and 27 it is like I'm here.
No, like
I'm here,
for
bro.
real. Like once I turned 26, like I like realized that, like I'm really about to be 30 in less than 5 years. Like that's crazy.
30, bro.
In less than 5 years, I'll be 30. Like
That's
that's
OD.
crazy.
That is OD. I'm nah, fam. And it's like crazy just because as a young boy, like you really thought that people who were like 24, 27, 29,
Was like
30
young.
was old, and I'm not old, bro. I am not old. Like it's
Yeah, bro.
crazy to me.
Life just be flying. Like it feels like, we just got out of high school and just started college. We are in our like late teens, early
Mm,
20s, and like now it's like, wow, this like now I'm really starting to feel when people be like, "Well, life is short." And it's like as an 18-year-old, you feel like you
mm.
have like your whole life ahead. You're like, man, I got
Right.
high school, college, man, life is long. And then it's like you blink, it's like I was just 18, now I'm 26. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, wow, like maybe life is kind of short. You know what I'm
Maybe it is.
saying? But yeah, bro, it's crazy, but it is what it is. But I mean, listen, we're still young. We're still in the
Most
prime of our
definitely.
lives. You know what I'm
L-
saying?
Looking mighty fine too. I do say so myself.
You feel me? So
Facts.
yeah, we're just wiser. You know what I mean? But like, we're still under 30. We not old. You know what I mean? We're
Most
just
definitely.
wise men. You feel me? So that's just
Facts.
how it's gonna be.
Facts. Um, Facts. So with all of that being said, welcome back to the podcast, guys. As now eloquently stated, it is the 1st of September, which means we are inching closer and closer back to another season of Philadelphia 76ers basketball, whether we like it or not. So we all know what
Yeah,
is
yeah.
going on with the team, specifically with one Mr. James the Beard Harden, who has gone on a world slander tour against the organization, specifically Daryl Morey. the GM or president of basketball ops of the team. In like hopes that Harden can get traded to his, um wa- wanted team. But he has been, go, been going been going everywhere from Shanghai, China to Houston, saying that he will never play for the 76ers again, and even went as far as to say that Daryl is a liar. Like, said said that John on multiple occasions for everyone to like see. Now, like I thought, like the first time I like saw that clip, I'm like, yo, this can't be real. Like, like there is no way this man is like that comfortable and like happy to like cause this much dysfunction. So I'm like, wow, like this is really the Harden experience. What did you think of like, him calling out the team and like saying, look, F what y'all doing. I'm gonna opt in, and I still want to be traded. What what did you think?
Um, well, first of all, I was shocked that he called Daryl Morey a liar because out of probably all of the GMs in the league, Daryl Morey probably believed in James Harden the most, from his time in Houston. Then he came to Philly, got James to come to Philly, and just for a guy in Daryl Morey who's done so much for James Harden and for James to be like, oh, like he's a whole liar, it like kind of struck me. Now James is not a rookie. He's a veteran. He knows how this business works.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that a GM has to do what's best for the team. So even if it's true that Daryl Morey said, okay, like opt in, we'll trade you. As a professional, he has to also understand that there has to be a market for Daryl Morey to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And being that in these last couple of years, James has been bouncing from team to team, and he opted in, I think, for like what, like 36, million dollars. I believe
Mm-hmm.
he's 34 years of age now. Um, a lot of teams now, if James Harden was only making maybe like 15 million or something like that, then maybe the market may be better. I mean, oh, James Harden for 15 million, yeah, I'll take him.
Bet,
But like,
bet.
for 36 million for a 34-year-old player who's not the same as he was in his MVP years, James has to understand that like what the market is right now for what he wants in terms of money isn't really there. It's kind of non-existent. So I feel like if Daryl Morey didn't have a conversation with James about his current market, James should at least like he's a veteran. He should know. Like I mean, like James, you could think whatever you want to think in your head in regards to the type of player that you think you are, right? You could think like whatever you want to think about yourself, but you still have to be cognizant of what the market is, and the market doesn't believe that you are the player that you believe yourself to be. So my whole theory is, if you still feel like you are that guy, that you can be the best player on a championship team, come back to Philly, come back to camp, ball out, prove yourself, and then maybe we can ship you somewhere, because you have to understand that Daryl Morey, like, he literally waited forever in the day to trade Ben Simmons. And, like, what makes you think he's not going to do the same with you? It's like you're not a rookie, you're a veteran. You understand the business. Even if he said verbally, like even if it was like a non-written agreement that he was going to trade you, if you opt in, you still have to understand, well, the market for myself isn't really that big, so there is a slight chance that Daryl may not, trade me if he's not going to get a decent form of compensation for me. And for James to not be aware of that and like, oh, he's a liar, it's like, I don't think it's more so that Daryl Morey is a liar. I think he did have intentions to trade James Harden. I really believe that. But it's like, if I'm only going to get a couple role players and like no first round draft picks, like
Ain't
yeah,
no point.
it's like I'm the GM of the Philadelphia 76ers, not the GM of James Harden. I can't just do you a solid just because you my boy. Like, I have a whole job to do. And if you want to be traded, cool, but I'm not going to do so unless I get good compensation. And if it's not out there, I'm not trading you. And as a veteran, I personally believe that James should have been cognizant of that and should have already known that this was a possibility despite what Daryl Morey said. So it's like I'm still kind of disappointed in James for doing that because it's like you know the business, bro. Like you know what this is. You know what I'm saying? So but that's just me though. Like, I mean, it's like you've been in the league too old to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, we literally seen this story with Ben Simmons. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't think James will ever play for the Sixers. I think it'll be like the Ben Simmons part two. Well, they'll find him and he'll be like, well, I don't care. You can find me however money you want. I'm still not going to play. And I think in the middle of the season, Daryl Morey is going to find somebody, a contender who could use a point guard or a scorer, and what I mean, maybe he can make it happen. We'll see, but yeah, those were my initial thoughts. Like I was just very disappointed.
So James Harden goes out, tells the world that Daryl Morey is a liar. The NBA then, in turns, starts an investigation against the org. Um, I think more so to like make sure like there was no tampering.
Yeah,
Um, James then backtracks and like says, "Oh no, I no like I mean there was no backdoor deal. I just more so meant that Daryl said once I opted in, I was going to get traded, which we all know is obviously BS because like there there was no guarantee that like the team that you wanted to like go to was going to trade for it for you in the first place. So James saying, look, f all that. When I signed 2 years ago, Bulls told me I was going to get paid. And clearly, evidently, he did not, which I don't think the Bulls should have, because he flamed out Game 7 like he always does. It's not all his fault. Y'all know on the channel I've said time and time and time again, I'm blaming Embiid more for that than James. But like, hey, it is what it is. Subsequently, in all of this, James Harden gets fined 100K.
dickhead. Like he's
Yo, I
salty as
know
shit.
he's
Like
spoiled. He ain't sick, but like he's salty as hell, bro. Like
no facts, bro.
100K though, that's OD. 100K, that's a tenth of a million.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's still probably like a small amount to him because I mean, like outside of
Right?
basketball
It's
money,
like
he's
chump change.
making endorsements and he living it up in China apparently. So
Right. I think it's just like a like amount is like the audacity of the league saying, "All right, bro, give us 1/10 of a mil for like you
yeah,
running your mouth."
and I also
um,
feel like it's like the league saying like, okay, like this has to stop in terms of like player. I mean, like I'm all for player, mobility, but just like I was saying before, like you can request a trade, but like why do you believe that a team is just going to trade you for pennies on a dollar? Like pennies
a
on a
dollar,
dollar.
right?
Like that's a bad GM. You know what I'm saying? It's just like so I mean, why do you think it's taking Damian Lillard to get traded? You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause it's like he been asked for a trade and Portland isn't dealing him yet because they haven't found a right deal, and as they should. Like he's a great player, and they want compensation as they should. James Harden, even though he's not what he used to be, still a good player, and rightfully so. We should want equal compensation. So until we get that, what I mean, you gonna still be a member of the Sixers, even though you may not be playing. But that's just what it is. It's maxi time anyway, but that's a whole other conversation. But yeah,
Maxi, the franchise. So the question then is: do you think that a Dame trade and a Harden trade are interconnected? Like they those trades won't get done unless they're like both involved in the same deal.
that's a
Do
good
you think that's
question.
what's the John is? Because like I mean, nothing has been getting done, and it seems like the league hasn't been popping trade wise, just because those two pieces are the like main, Jones in the
Yeah.
main puzzle.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think that the I mean, there's a chance that it, could be. I also know that Damian doesn't want to come to Philly. Um, because of especially with what Joel Embiid said after the playoff series when he said him and James can't do it by themselves, which I might add was taken out of context because if you like listen to the
I agree.
whole,
Yeah.
you know what I mean,
Yes.
like
I I
he didn't
I
mean it in that, you know what I'm saying? So
like
I mean
that.
like I,
But stop
like
talking though. Like stop talking, bro. Like
yeah, I mean, true, yes, but I mean, it was taken
what
out of context, so he didn't mean it like that. But I still nonetheless, if MB didn't say anything, I don't think Dame is coming to Philly.
mm,
But I think it is possible for a multi team deal to get done where Dame can go to Miami and James can go elsewhere and we get like multiple first round picks and a couple role players. I do think that's a possibility. Um, it's just a matter of which teams. Obviously, the Clippers have been popping around as far as James Harden is concerned, and with Dame. Even him and his agent were getting in a little bit of trouble because like the league was like, "Yo, stop telling people that you just want to go to Miami." You know what I'm saying? And it's like so no, like because the league is getting fed up with these places. Well, I only want to go to this team, and I feel like Portland's dilemma is like, I mean, well, out of respect for you, Dame, we'll try and see what's available in Miami, just because what you've
right.
done for this organization. But you have to keep in mind, like once again, I'm not the GM of Damian Lillard. I'm the GM of the Portland Trailblazers. You know what I'm saying? So
Trailblazers, right.
it's like, you know what I mean? So I think because of the fact that it's taking a while for these two players in particular to get traded, I do think it's possible for them to be part of a multi-team deal where maybe there's like four different teams involved in everybody can end up getting what they want. Now, I don't know what those teams look like outside of the Clippers and the Miami Heat, but what I'm saying, like we just really have to wait and see. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting offseason. I do think for both players, they're going to still be members of their respective teams after
Hmm.
um the NBA starts this October. But I do think a deal will get done for both teams prior to the All-Star break. So
Yeah.
we'll see. It's going to be an interesting trade season upcoming once the season begins. So it's going to be interesting, bro. Very interesting.
As it typically and usually is. So, speaking of the off season, I have a little game for you. As you know, as we all know, as I know, the 76ers have always had interesting off seasons the last 3 years, 3 years, the last decade, if anything, to say
Facts.
the least. Us fans have been going through it time and time again. So I like pulled up a list of the timeline of the 76ers off seasons, and I wanted to like ask you rank um each year in terms of craziness. One is like the like most awesome ish out of po-
I
pocket
feel you.
era, and
Yeah.
three is the worst. So I like just chose three since like there was so much in the summer of 2018. The Sixers had a GM by the name of Brian Colangelo,
Yep.
who was brought into the team because one Sam Hinkie was ousted by the league. He was the like son of Jerry Colangelo, who had ties to the league itself. Dealing with like old school ball type ish. Um, and anyway, homeboy Brian had burner accounts,
I remember that.
ripping the team and their all-star players, leaking medical info, just like a like full bad joint, and ended up blaming his wife on that. Um,
That was
we
crazy.
we we we've also had another trade request gone haywire with our main man, it's Mr. Ben Simmons, which we'll talk about. Um, and another story within the pod. We all know what occurred with Ben during that year. He passes up the dunk. We lose round two in horrible fashion at home, game seven against Trey Young and Kevin Herter. I'm still not over the fact that, like, yo, Trey
Herder.
Young and Kevin Herter ended our team.
And they got to the Eastern Conference
Trey
Finals
Young, bro.
before we did. That's crazy.
Kevin Herter. That's ridiculous. Um, and then just like this is like just going through that like whole Ben saga. Him saying he's hurt. Him saying mental health issues is the reason he's not playing. Him like going on like whole tirades about he was never allowed to like grow as a pl- player because he had to like work with Joel. He had too much pressure on him from jump. Um, that like whole thing. Eventually him getting traded for James. And then this year, 2023, James Harden going around the world saying "F the Sixers." So my
Basically.
question is, what do you think in your or rank those three in order of craziness as a fan? What do you think was worse?
I think by far the Ben Simmons situation was the worst. Um because of number one, who he is in terms of where we drafted him. He's the number one overall pick. He was a cornerstone of this organization. Him and Joel were supposed to run the league. Joel was supposed to be the second coming of Hakeem Olajuwon. Ben Simmons was supposed to be the next like LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? And
Uh,
for him to wet the bed the way that he did in the playoffs, I remember, like,
you
I think when every Sixer fan who watched that, I believe what that was the 2021 Eastern Conference final. I mean Eastern Conference semifinals. Um,
Simmons, yeah,
when every Sixer fan watched that game and watched him pass up that wide open layup, I feel like all Sixers fans were like, okay, he got a dip. Like this is
is
getting
that?
ridiculous. This is it's one thing if
Yo,
you're passing up jump shots, but you passing up layups now, like all
in
right,
a play
like
in a
you know what I'm
game
saying? Seven,
seven, a
win or
game
go
seven,
home.
two
You know what I'm
minutes left.
saying? And it was just a ugly situation because like even like with when Doc Rivers was asked the question, "Do you think Ben Simmons can be a championship point guard?" Like you saw that in his face. He was just like, I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
know,
know,
bro.
bro. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just like he, he kept it a buck though. He like I don't really know, but and then for Ben to kind of call out Joel Embiid and say that he can't really develop under him, and he didn't, and like what you said, he couldn't fully develop because he was on a winning team and he wasn't allowed to make mistakes, and you know what I mean, it's just complete BS. And for
Yeah.
him to just come in, request a trade and be like, oh, I got mental health issues, and I'm not saying that mental health issues aren't real, because they definitely are a real thing, but just like with the way that he wasn't really fully taking accountability the way that I feel like Philadelphia wanted him to, was just a
Mm-hmm.
very bad situation because we were really on the cusp of really trying to better our team, and it's like, okay, well, now Ben's out, and who are we going to get for Ben? And it was just like this whole John about it. So I think that that was like the worst, because it was like a very big blemish on the process, because it was like, wow, Ben wants out, now what do we do? You know what I'm saying? So I'll put that as number one. um Two, out of the situations that you mentioned, I'll say I'll go Brian Colangelo, because he was brought here to do better than Sam Hankey, and just for him to have a burner account and just talk trash about the Sixers, that's pretty asinine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
you
did, bro.
like that that's drawn, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you doing, bro? You know what I mean? So that's just unprofessional. And I'll put James at number
You
3 because we've seen this story before, just a different player.
right.
It's still frustrating, but it's like, we've seen this before. Like, we literally went through this a few years ago with Ben. So but yeah, that Ben Simmons thing, man, like that was just really like, because like we all believed that we were going to beat the Hawks in game 7. Like, if I had to put money on that game, I would have bet on the Sixers, because I'm like, there's no way we're losing to the Hawks. The Hawks at home?
At
Nah.
home, bro.
There's
At
like
home,
like
bro.
there's no way.
That's ridiculous.
And then
Oh my god.
I had saw this this was a few days ago,
You.
actually. It was on csnphilly.com, and
Mm,
I can't remember the reporter, but he had interviewed Ben Simmons and had asked him about that play. Um, and at well, when they were playing against Atlanta, when he passed open that dunk, and Ben basically said, "Well, I made a play. I passed it to a player that I thought had a higher probability of making a free throw, and it didn't work." So he's kind of came clean, because like prior to him saying that, like, he was on JJ Redick's podcast saying, "Well, I had, like, it happened so fast, and I thought, that Trey Young was going to come over." It's like, bro, that's BS. So I mean, I'm at least happy that he kind of admitted, okay, I thought I was going to get fouled, and I don't got no confidence in making my free throw, so I thought Matisse would have a higher probability, so that's why I passed it off. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, like, that was by far, I think, as me personally being a Sixers fan in my lifetime, that was the craziest off season, because it was just like, yeah, bro. But so, like, to me, that has to be number one. Like, that that was crazy. You feel me? So yeah, bro.
Speaking of Mr. Ben Simmons, he went on he had an interview with, I think, Marcus Spears
Yeah, that was
of the
him. Yeah,
formerly undefeated. Yeah. Um, Talking about, where his mind is going into the season upcoming. It's a yearly tradition where Ben goes on this, like, whole media tour with pictures,
and he's
videos,
shooting jump
interviews,
shots.
shooting jump shots, saying that, like, he is going to get better. So this was like, what, year 6, edition 6 of that rendition. And the homeboy asked Ben, um, uh, where he would like to, like, play, or like something to that effect. Like, if
Yeah,
he were to get traded, where would he like to play? And homeboy had the audacity and gumption and balls to, like, say, I would want to go back to Philly. Because he says there's, like, no ill will, there's no ill harm, there's no ill feelings. He loves Philly itself. He was, giving praise to Joel. He was giving praise to the actual fans. Seeming more, um, I guess, I don't want to say, like, apologatory, if that word, because he wasn't, but more so just, like, well, per, perceiving to let bygones be bygones.
yeah.
The question that I have is, do you think that, like, he actually wants to play as a Sixer again? And, like, if so, how would that work out for him? Also, would you even want Ben to, like, come back? Because low key, I'm not saying yes or no, but looking at the current situation at hand,
You
two
funny, bro.
2 years left. 2 years left. I don't know. You tell
Kind of like,
me.
I'm not saying that I would want to have him back, but
I still got his jersey.
but
I'm just saying, I could wear that joint again.
oh man. But no, that's a very good question, because in terms of getting equal compensation for James Harden, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get that unless Daryl Morey pulls off a miracle like he did with the Ben Simmons situation. But um Do I think that Ben actually wants to come back to Philly? Um, I actually think that he may want to do that. Because I feel like he may be at a point in his life where he's like, okay, like these last 2 seasons with the Nets, I, play like trash, and people forgot that I'm a 3-time All-Star, and all defensive team player and stuff like that. And he really wants to redeem himself, and he had his best career years in Philadelphia. So I do think that a portion of that is true. Now, would I want him back? It depends, because forget shooting jump shots. If I'm the organization, I am looking this man dead in his face like, yo, if we bring you back, just know that I will not hesitate at all to bench you if you are not
Pull
making your
you
free throws
facts.
late in games. I will sub in D. Anthony Melton. He'll come in and you'll be sitting
Mm.
right next to me. So just know I will bench you without hesitation. I'm not going through this again. I'm not going through people fouling you on purpose and stagnating our offense so that we can't, what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing that again. So it's either, you know, I'll play you for the first 3 quarters, and D'Anthony Melton can maybe come in for the whole fourth quarter. But you have to prove to me that you can knock down your free throws, and if you can do that, then I'll let you play the whole game. I feel like something like that has to be said, because I'm not going back to a time where it's a close game, it's playoffs, and teams are going to foul him on purpose. And it's like I'm not going through like one thing that I like about Ben Simmons not being here is that we can run a traditional offense. But now, even if he improves on his free throws, it's still going to mess up the spacing because he's not going to be willing to shoot. And where does Joel Embiid live? In the paint. You know what I mean? It's
In the
going,
paint.
so it's like all these reoccurring issues. So, but in terms of last resort, if we can't get anything better for James Harden and we can only get Ben Simmons in a few draft picks or something like that, I say we may have to bring him in because he may be our best option. But once again, I'm telling him I will not hesitate to bench you. If you know what I'm saying, if you keep clanking your free throws, you know what I'm saying, or if you pull what you did in Game 7 against Atlanta, where you passing up I will bench you without hesitation. You know what I'm saying? I need you to be clear on that. You know what I'm saying? So but I do think that we should explore other options for James Harden. But if nothing, and when I
Mm.
say nothing, I mean like literally pennies on the dollar, like
Nothing.
nothing, then we may have to consider it, because I mean, you have a better idea. You know what I'm saying? It's going to get to that
Yeah, but
point.
I do.
It's going to, you know what I mean? So like, it's going to get to that point if we can get fair compensation for James Harden. But should he be our first option? Absolutely not. But once again, if everything else doesn't work out, then he we may have to bring him back because he may be our only option, and you know what I mean. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand on that.
The life of a 76ers fan talking about Ben Simmons. September 1st, 2023, about 2 years after the man was traded from our team in a disgraceful fashion. Of course, we're talking about this BS, and not harping on something positive about the team going into the year. So, hey, it is what it is. We chose this life. Oh, actually, no, I did not choose this life. I blame my dad because he brought me into the fold. So I'm gonna blame him. It's fine. I still
Yeah,
love the squad. Sixes till the death of me. Because when we win a chip, eventually, I don't know if it's during this era. Actually, you know what? We're gonna win a chip in this era.
speaking to
Either
existence.
way,
You know what I'm saying?
whenever we win a chip, I'm gonna be the loudest bull. So hey,
I'm sure you will be,
um,
bro.
but hey, I want to thank everybody for pulling up and listening to two brothers speak on their favorite basketball team of all time, the Philadelphia 76ers. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe because you already know we're talking about basketball from a black male perspective. How about that? Um, More content is on the way. I'm sorry that I have not been as consistent as I have in the past, even though I said that I was going to be. Once again, a lot of stuff is going on in a Bull's life, but we are going to get back there with like more, like way more content, because I'm gonna have more time to devote to you all, and myself, of course, into my passion and craft and all that good stuff. Thank you to everyone who followed off of the, or who subscribed off of the messy video. Bulls got what, 93K off of like just like talking to fans about the GOAT
That's what's up,
of
bro.
soccer. Bro, it was so tough, and it was. I'm seeing how like soccer low key is the wave. Like obviously, I'm gonna still do like ball content just because like that's like what we know. But
I feel you.
like 93K off of just like come
Soccer's
on now.
a universe. Like all countries, I feel like play soccer. All countries, not all countries play basketball. Even though basketball is still international, but not as international as
Not
soccer.
to the
It's
same
even
extent.
close.
Facts. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, bro,
So
that's what's up.
So any of you soccer fans who are listening to this pod, first thank you
Football.
to football. Let me know in the comment section what you all would like to see content wise, and I will make sure that I put it into my brain and regurgitate it out for you. Okay. Is there anything else before we dip now? Anything else, bro?
Um, just basically hoping for the best for the Sixers organization because I'm always going to be a Sixer fan, but it's not looking good. Let's
It's a
just put
wrap,
it like
bro.
that.
It's a wrap.
It's not, you know what I mean? Like, we'll probably make the playoffs and we'll probably make it out the first round, but I mean, I'm not convinced that we'll make it out of the
The
second
same old
round.
same, bro.
You know what I mean? So it's probably going to be the same story, but at least we'll make the playoffs. So
Same place where we began in tw- 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 2012, which is like
basically, yeah.
crazy, just because like if you even peep back, like I remember it was a year when it was like what it was Iguodala,
Elton
Evan
Brand,
Turner,
Evan
and Lou
Turner, yeah.
Williams, and like we took
Lou
the
Will.
Celtics to a game
7,
7.
second round.
So it's
Remember that.
it's the same thing. Like it's not
But
like
I
you know.
but I ain't gonna hold you. If Derrick Rose didn't get hurt, we wouldn't have made it out the first round.
If
You know what
Embiid
I'm saying?
doesn't get like hurt year after year, we going to the chip. I think. I don't know.
I mean,
He's a fraud, so
that's like
I don't
that's
know,
a
bro.
valid point. I mean, but yeah, bro, it's just not looking good. But the Philadelphia Eagles kick off their first regular
Hey,
season game, I believe, on the 10th, which is not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. And
against the
go
like
Birds.
Patriots.
The Patriots. It's a away game, so we'll be at Gillette Stadium. We should fry them because Mac Jones
Fried them
ain't
Bulls.
ain't really as advertised, at least in my opinion. But
Mm,
yeah, so go Birds.
sounds good. So once again, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We will talk to you next week or in the next 2 weeks. So stay safe, and I hope y'all learned something today. Peace.
Yes, sir.